So, hi everybody. Again, I am recording this. You probably just got to pop up. If you don't want to be recorded, you can just turn off your camera and that will be fine. Um, and I'm just going to keep an eye out here. So thank you all for joining us. I know well, it depends, I guess, where you are. We're spread out all over Ontario. It's actually a nice evening here in Sudbury where I'm located. It's actually the humidity broke, so it's beautiful outside. So we'll get started today. My name is Donna. I am been with Expedia Cruises Team Friesen for 16 years now. I was the manager who opened our Sudbury store, and I now work with all of our centers, doing all of our working with our suppliers to be able to bring events like this to you. So Fiona, if you could just slide the next slide for me, my Vanna.
Yes. Why is this not working? Oh, here we go.
There we go. Thank you. So who is Expedia Cruises Team Friesen? I'm sure most of you do know who we are and work with us. We have been around. Our franchise, first one was Thunder Bay, and we opened in 2007. So soon, going to be 18 years. We now have over 500 consultants, all of which pretty much are in Ontario, but all across Ontario, even where we don't have stores. We do have 18 storefronts ranging from Thunder Bay, a bunch in the north, going from Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, North Bay, Barrie, and then we get into central Ontario with our Burlington and our Burlington North, Hamilton, and Dundas stores. And then we kind of moved down to Woodstock. Our newest stores are London North, South, and West. And then we have Windsor and Sarnia and Chatham. And pretty soon, this month, actually, or next month for sure, we will be opening our newest store in Aurelia. So very, very exciting. And what we do with our team, it just makes us a little bit different so that even if you're at one of our stores, if you're in London or Sudbury, the newest Aurelia, and you think, oh, well, you know what, like they don't know because they're new. With us, we have a whole team. So we have been everywhere. I may not have been, but I work with somebody in Sudbury, for example, who earlier this year was in Antarctica, and we've been to Galapagos. We've been across the world. So when you work with a consultant at one of our stores, you're actually working with a team that has been everywhere. So that is what makes us a little bit different than your average agency. We can honestly tell you we have been there. And I'm going to get one more slide here for me before I'm going to introduce Fiona to you. So this is our leadership team. This was actually last summer. I haven't updated it from our summer before. This summer, I should say. So this was our leadership team last summer. We do have a manager at every single store. Some of them have more than one because they're really large. And we also have area managers and now myself to make sure that we really do as much as we can for our clients to make sure we get all these great events for you guys and all these extra deals. So with that being said, I am going to pass it off tonight to Fiona, who is our representative from Norwegian Cruise Line. We do a ton of stuff with Norwegian Cruise Line. It's an amazing product. As you can see by the picture, like it just has everything. Look at that water slide. I'm just afraid looking at it. My goodness. So I am going to turn off my camera and mute myself. I will keep an eye for people coming in. And it is recorded. So if something happens, if you get kicked out or whatever, you can just let us know and I can email it to you as well. Or if you want to share this video with somebody or a presentation, I am more than happy to send that as well. So with that being said, Fiona, I want to thank you so much for volunteering and being here with us tonight. And I'm so excited for you to be able to tell all about what is going on with Norwegian. And I know we have a little bit of specials to talk about at the end as well. So I am going to pass it on to you.
Thank you, Donna, and really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I do represent Norwegian in Canada. I am Canadian and based in Hamilton, so I'm in the region to support our Team Friesen offices. As Donna mentioned, they are spread out throughout Ontario, mostly in the west, some in the north, and great storefronts, great people to work with, and very knowledgeable. So myself, Fiona, with Norwegian, I represent our partners and in turn the clients. But partners are where I find myself B2B mostly, and I represent Norwegian Cruise Line. And price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And first off, you're going to learn all about the value behind Norwegian Cruise Line. This is how we do it. So we make a cruise experience very much like an all-inclusive experience. When you go to a hotel, we have everything included on our ships. So when you purchase the More at Sea package, you're actually purchasing your unlimited drinks. 90% of the alcohol on board our ships are covered under the More at Sea program or package. And then we have specialty dining. Of course, dining goes hand in hand with cruising. When you go on our ships, there's no shortage of finding where food can take you, an experience. But we also have introduced specialty dining, and that's what's included in the More at Sea package. The specialty dining gives you so many options, and with More at Sea, we provide dining credit so you can experience that as well, included in your cruise experience. Shore excursion credits are also available in the More at Sea package. That's $50 off each shore excursion you're able to take. That's tagged to guest one in the stateroom. However, every single shore excursion will receive that credit. Then we have buy one, get one air. Now there are restrictions involved in that, so you're really best to talk to your travel agent at Expedia to make sure it's the right solution for you, because there are some great savings, but as I mentioned, there's a lot of restrictions as well. We do also include Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is not unlimited on our ships. We do provide Wi-Fi credits with the More at Sea package so that you can remain connected as needed. And then, of course, third and fourth go free. Now, that's that value thrown into it, but there's so much more. It is, with Norwegian, a freestyle experience, meaning we designed our ships so that our guests can create the holiday that they want. We don't have set dining times. We don't have dress codes. It is designed so that the ship has areas throughout the ship that you have interest in. So whether you're going to the entertainment or a dining restaurant or your different clubs, it is made so that not everyone on board is going to the same deck or the same area. We have multiple main dining rooms. We have multiple specialty restaurants. We have multiple activities so that spreads out the crowds. And you really are free to discover and make the holiday that is what you're looking for. And here is our godfather of our newest ship, Norwegian Aqua, to share a little bit about what he thinks of it.
When I'm on vacation, I want less of this and more of this. Welcome to a vacation that's so much more with Norwegian Cruise Line. Tear it up in Jamaica one day, and jam in Aruba another. Followed by amazing meals when you're back on board. Ooh la la. But there's more! And did I mention the unlimited drinks? I love more. Sorry. Experience more with Norwegian. When I'm on...
He says it so well. So I'm going to launch right into the whole vacation experience with Norwegian. And it doesn't just sit on the cruise ship itself. Norwegian purchased its own private island in the 70s, and we've had it. It's located in the Bahamas. We also have a second private island. The difference between the two is the one in the Bahamas we own outright, and then in Belize, the country of Belize owns that island, and we have a portion of it. So the reason I stipulate that, and I'll share with you in a moment. So, Norwegian.
Introducing the greatest escape in the Caribbean, the Great Life on Great Stirrup Cay. This is the greatest pool you've ever seen life, and the epic water park life. It's where you can experience the whoa life and the floating through paradise life. It's time to escape to the here we go life. The great life is waiting. Escape to the incredible new Great Stirrup Cay. Only with Norwegian Cruise Line.
So it does say the new island. However, as I mentioned, we've owned this island since the 70s. We're just now putting more into it. So we're building that pool that you see here. We do have that beachfront. We do have zip lining. We do have activities. We do have cabanas and deck chairs and restaurants. And it is right now, as I speak, is a tender port, but we're right now also building a pier. So our ships can dock and our guests can just walk off the ship and enjoy the island right away. So when the video said new, we're now also incorporating some new builds to it. So one is that 2,500 capacity heated swimming pool. Now, we don't build it to make it so its capacity. We build it so that we know guests are going to filter throughout the island. So it's not envisioned to be 2,500 guests going to the pool. We're offering lots to our guests on the island. So the experience now will be you get off the ship, walk through the orientate and the welcome center, which is this nice air-conditioned center, and really built for mobility issues. If you have that, it's going to be much more comfortable than if you're experiencing that tender port that we're fixing. And then we're building so much. The pier, the welcome plaza, the Great Life Lagoon. We have swimming with the pigs activity. And as I mentioned, the zip lining. There's swim up bars. There's a water park, a splash pad, 3,800 square foot of splash pad area and activities with the slides, the tube slides, and really a great destination, and all part of that Bahamas experience when you're sailing on those itineraries that visit the Great Stirrup Cay. So I've shared with you the swimming pool that's coming and the size, but the difference between the island in Belize and the one that we own outright, the Great Stirrup Cay, is the More at Sea package that I shared with you just a moment ago is extended on the island. So you're not paying extra for your drinks. It's all included with your More at Sea package. So do make sure that you do highlight that with your agent, that you do sign on if you are interested in that all-inclusive feel. There's also our Vibe and Beach Club will be extended on the private island. We have cabanas that you can rent and really quiet places that you can enjoy while you have that destination when you visit with the ship. It is only available for cruise ships from Norwegian, this island. So it will be, and I've already had the question, can you book it and stay on the island without the cruise? And unfortunately, there's no way to get there without getting on one of the Norwegian ships. So this is just a person enjoying that zip line experience. I've done zip lining over forests, and that was quite exhilarating. But this, I haven't done it, but I imagine it to be much more fun with the warm breeze and the beach underneath your feet. A great activity and a shore excursion would be part of the More at Sea credits available. So stay tuned for more on our private island. But when you're looking at the Caribbean, Great Stirrup Cay is where you'll see all those updates. Now, just to share more on the Harvest Cay, which is that island in the Belize. So the Southern Caribbean itineraries would have Harvest Cay as a one of the ports in your itinerary, and there's lots to experience. The only difference really is very much it's a different island, but two, the difference, the More at Sea would not extend to Harvest Cay. But there are air-conditioned dining. There's places that you can see culture and be with wild animals as well. We have nature reserves on the island. So there's a lot to experience, not just on the cruise ship, but in the itineraries as well with the different ports of call that you visit. And I'll share more as we continue in the presentation. So the real difference, though, is the types of itineraries. We look for the unusual, and you'll find itineraries that can match any discerning interest that you want for where you want to go. We have over 400 destinations and over 2,000 itineraries to choose from. And I came up with this idea, the last presentation, is that it's not the most direct way to find your sailing of choice by starting with, okay, the price point, I want to go inside cabins because I want to keep it low priced. You're better off because our ships are go from supply and demand like the stock market. So is to have a budget in mind versus telling that you want this, that, or the other. Because if you're flexible, you're going to find a much more robust itinerary if you're working well with your agent. So have that budget in mind. Then start talking about destination or activities that you want to do and the discovery process in finding that holiday just for you. Then with Norwegian, you have those options, many, many options. Then you have the more at sea to make that value add. We have a variety of staterooms, which I'm going to get into more detail here. And then the activities. We have thrill-seeking activities. We have exciting activities with the race cars on the ocean waters. 4 of our ships have these race cars. And then we also have quiet corners that you can find a great lounge chair and watch right there with the ocean waters in front of you. We also have a spa that's second to none. It's an entire section on our ship that we have different rooms like the thermal spa area. We have many different treatment options. We even have acupuncturists on our ships. And something there for everyone. You could plan an entire week holiday just on our spa with lots of different options there. So something for everyone truly does extend to everyone. Now, the other thing to consider is if everyone's off doing their own holiday in the evening when it's time to sit for dinner, that's where you can share your stories and really make those family memories stay forever for a lifetime. Kind of like a Christmas dinner. You're getting together and you're sharing what you've done that day, whether it be that you did it together or that you've done different things with the kids club, or you're wanting to go to the spa, or someone wants to do the racetrack or the different slides. This is where you get together at dinner and enjoy. Or even if you're sailing solo. These activities and different aspects of your cruise are great conversation starters. So all of that is part of the whole cruise experience that you really make your own. So we do have accommodations to accommodate larger groups or smaller groups. We do have solo cabins and then the activities. So the race car that I mentioned on 4 of our different ships. And then the specialty dining here in the middle is an image of the teppanyaki restaurant where they're actually cooking the meal in front of you and entertaining you at the same time. If you've ever been to Benihana on land, it's the very same experience. So they're entertaining you, cooking your meal, and really a fantastic experience. Then we have quiet corners I've mentioned. This is our observation lounge where we have floor-to-ceiling windows. And if you can think, if you're in Alaska or anywhere really where you want to look out the windows, you can do this in our observation lounge. Grab a drink or a coffee if you're watching the sunrise, have your breakfast there. You can grab it from the buffet, bring it down in a nice lounge chair and watch as the ship takes you through all the glaciers in Alaska, or even the wildlife that you would see. Bring your binoculars with you. You can do that on our ships, and you have the choice and the ability to do it on your own time and agenda. Now we have 20 different ships to accommodate your holiday. Our newest being the Norwegian Aqua in the upper left corner. I have two at the bottom that are X'd out only because these ships are going off to a long-term charter. So they are leaving our fleet, which brings us down to 18 ships. But starting in March of next year, we will have a new ship called the Luna. So that'll make us 19 ships. But then we go all the way to 2036, where we have a new ship coming every 2 years from now until 2036. So there's going to be lots of new innovations, new ways to explore. And every ship offers something unique. There's different entertainment, there's different activities on board as well. So only 4 of the ships have the racetrack, as I mentioned, but then we have other innovations that will take your breath away, which I'll get into more detail as we continue. And then beyond that is your destination. So how do you start that conversation with your agent? Is it based on where you want to go or what you want to do? Because both of those lead very well into deciding what the perfect holiday is for you. Now, this map, the white circles highlight where our ships embark from. So you could take cruises that start from Europe. You could take cruises that start from South Africa or New Zealand or Australia or Fiji, South America. We have options for you. You can do back to back if you wish. We also have pre and post tours that you can look into, which I've personally really researched. I couldn't stop actually myself. But Alaska, the pre and post options where you could go take a train, an Alaska train, which is meant for sightseeing, go as far north to see the northern lights and still get back on your cruise and continue your Alaska cruise through the glaciers and the whale watching. You can do that in Alaska, and it's certainly something you can do with Norwegian. So add on a pre or post. Same for Hawaii as well. So we're the only cruise line that stays in Hawaii the entire time. So you fly into Honolulu and then you do 7 days with 2 overnights. So there's an overnight in Kauai and in Maui. So you're able to take more shore excursions if you wish, but you can also do a pre or post to really deep dive in Hawaii. And that ship, now looking back at all the different ships we have, the ship in Hawaii is really more meant as a floating hotel. It does have entertainment and lots of food options, but it's not like the Aqua with the slide coaster. It's not like the racetracks, but it's much more a floating hotel. And it doesn't have a casino on board just because of rules and regulations of having a ship in the waters of Hawaii the entire time. So lots to consider. Again, where do you start? Is it the destination or the activity you want to have during your holiday? Now, is eating part of that? I imagine so if you're considering a cruise. Complimentary dining is absolutely goes hand in hand with cruising. So we offer options. So first off, we have many ships with an indulge food hall. This is where you'd go and see different stations with different food options, but you don't order it like a buffet. You still sit down and you order it from an iPad and the wait staff will bring it to you. So it's still very much a high service restaurant, but it is much more casual in that you can get up and take a look at the different stations and the food options available to you and then make a selection from there. We also have a full buffet as well. So that's not one or the other. It's both on our ships that have the indulge food hall or the buffet. Then we have multiple main dining rooms. So that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and it can be named something else, but you definitely have more than you have 3 options for your complimentary dining. So the Commodore room is a fantastic, comfortable dining area. We also have the Surfside Cafe or Surfside Grill where you can dine on the deck as well. Then we also have the local bar and grill, and we also have Hudson's, or it can be called Manhattan. It's the larger of our main dining room. Great views at the aft of our ship. So those are our main dining rooms where you can absolutely enjoy lots of food options The buffet wasn't one of our slides, but it is a very robust area to dine. You can find yourself and not disappointed if you went there every day. It has so many different options of food that you can enjoy. Now, on top of that, we do have specialty dining. And to reiterate, the More at Sea includes dining credits. So, as an example, on a 7-day itinerary, you would receive 3 dining credits. So, that means 3 different evenings you'll enjoy a meal at one of the specialty dinings. And these are top-notch themed restaurant with dedicated chefs that create a really unique experience for our guests. So Suko Thai is Thai food that we introduced on the Norwegian Aqua, so a brand new ship. And I'm going to go through these quickly because I really just want to overwhelm you with choice. So you remember to know that there's lots of choice available on Norwegian. Then we have Palomar, or Ocean Blue it's called. It's our seafood restaurant. We also have the sushi and sashimi restaurants on our ships. We then have Hasuki, which is that teppanyaki. That's just a different name of the same experience where they're cooking the meal in front of you. Then we also have Cagney Steakhouse, which is very similar to the keg here on land, but that gives you options of surf and turf or steak, filet mignon. You can have that experience. And again, a dedicated chef and kitchen creating these beautiful menus for you. Le Bistro is our French bistro. This particular restaurant is my favorite, but here I want to just hold back and say that although we don't have a dress code on our ships or don't have a formal night, which in my experience, I've never seen an entire ship go formal. There's always a few that don't dress up. And that's fine. If you want to have a dress-up evening because you're celebrating or just wanting to have an upscale evening, you can do that in one of the specialty restaurants. Le Bistro, they actually will turn away if you show up in shorts and flip-flops. They do have an unwritten dress code that it is a fancier restaurant. The Cagney's would be similar. It's just a different atmosphere. You go and you dress up and you celebrate and you have those moments that you're looking for. You don't need the entire ship to dress up with you. You can do that in our specialty restaurants. And these are very much like a restaurant that you go to off the street down the road from where you live. It feels that way. It doesn't feel like you're in a big ship restaurant. You're in a dedicated restaurant just for, and they can be in quiet corners. So Le Bistro, I've found they're usually higher up on the ship as well. So the food, I haven't really talked much about the food, but this is a French bistro and the food was fantastic. In fact, with those 3 dining credits, I chose to go to the same restaurant each time. And then we also have additional Los Lobos, which is our Mexican fare. They actually make the guacamole right next to your table, and you can enjoy that Mexican food. We also have Italian. Here's Onda by Scarpetta is our Italian fare. So I hope I've overwhelmed you and that you remember that dining is absolutely part of that cruise experience, and we've just elevated that with our specialty dining choices, and you have choices to enjoy. So we've got so much more destinations. I'm going to touch on Alaska a bit more. We do stay in port longer than our competitors. We do also have lots of options in ships that we have sailing here. We have various ways you can really indulge in the outdoors as well as staying on board and enjoying the outdoors as well. So there's areas on the ship where you can be outside and see Alaska, but then we also have those amazing pre and post tours. You could take shore excursions and really maximize that Alaska experience with definitely different accommodations of it as well. So the different itineraries, we do start earlier in April and then stay longer in October. We have one-way cruises, so northbound or southbound. We do just the inside passage if you wish to keep it just the earlier and the later sailings tend to stick to the inside passage because you can't go that north because of the glaciers. And then we also have fire and ice. So fire meaning Hawaii, and then ice being Alaska. So you can do those cruises, which are not with the Pride of America, which stays in Hawaii. We have cruises that will visit Hawaii and also Alaska within that same itinerary. There's so many choices, and as I mentioned, we stay in port longer than others in the in that area, so that you can enjoy and really immerse yourself in the different. And these are the 6 different ships to experience. And I will say, so the Bliss at the top left, that has the racetrack. Have you ever imagined doing a racetrack with those glaciers in the background? Because you are racing around at the top of the ship and you're seeing those beautiful views that you would see whether you were just walking around the deck outdoors where you could do it on the top of the ship or midship. We have outdoor areas to walk and see the outdoors. So we bring basically the destination to you. And very similar with Hawaii, this is an image of the Pride of America. You can see no area for the racetracks. As I mentioned, the floating hotel, but no one does Hawaii better than we do because we're there for the entire time. You're not wasting time to get to Hawaii, which basically would take about 3 days on a cruise ship to land in Hawaii, whereas with the Pride of America, you can fly into Honolulu, then fly out of Honolulu. The unique itineraries, we have those 2 overnights, so you can really immerse yourself. And we are the only cruise line that remains in Hawaii for the entire year. So lots of different options where you can enjoy Hawaii, the 4 islands. Here is the itinerary where you can see it takes you all around the Hawaiian Islands. And we don't stop there. We have itineraries into Europe where, again, we're staying in port longer. We have very much port-intensive itineraries. Now, you can find itineraries that stay on board our ships longer if that's more what you're looking for. We do have those. In fact, and I have a slide for it, but as it's top of mind, we have a ship sailing from Rome, then it goes to Marrakesh, and then it's a 13-day sailing, and then it does across the Atlantic to Miami. So for most of that 13-day itinerary, you are on board a ship. So in contrast, for instance, in Hawaii or Alaska or in Europe, we do stay in port longer, and we do have those itineraries that are very port intensive. Now, how much longer do we stay in port? We're in port at least 32% longer when you're sailing in Europe with Norwegian. And then on top of that are the activities, onboard activities. I mentioned the race cars, but what's changed on the Aqua is we don't have the race cars. We've replaced it with a slide coaster. We were the innovators bringing this to the ocean waters. We've combined a roller coaster and a slide. So it actually launches you into the slide it's a water slide. So you go around and have a great time. Did anyone have a question? No? Okay, that's fine. And here is a quick video to share.
3, 2, 1. Show me something. Bright light, showtime, burn it like an oven. Turn it on, get lost, baby. Show me something. Show me something. Bright light, showtime, burn it like an oven. Turn it on, get lost, baby. Show me something. Show me something. Show me something. Show me something.
Now that's our corporate design video, I implore you, if you're really curious about what the slide coaster is like, go on YouTube or Instagram, because on our inaugural sailing, we had a bunch of influencers, and I'm sure guests have since added to those postings. But there are some great real life people enjoying the slide coaster, and it's thrill seeking, but it's not scary. It's really a lot of fun. I just want to double check. I didn't skip a slide. Okay. So the Norwegian Luna, this is the one I was mentioning where it stays on board a lot longer. So it's a 14-day from Rome to Miami. It does go to Marrakesh, and then it goes all the way to Miami from Europe. So that Luna is a brand new, that particular sailing would be the very, very, very first consumer sailing on that ship. So if you also like new things, you could be the very first passenger to enjoy the Norwegian Luna before it comes over to North America. So with our new ships, you're seeing a lot more wide open space. We've added more deck chairs. And I highlight this because the class of ship that the Luna and the Aqua are a plus version. So we've added 10% in the size. So it started with the Prima and then the Viva, and now we have the Aqua and Luna. So they are more wide open space. And because of that, we've added more staffing. So you're looking at 2-to-1 ratio between guest and service, staffing and staff. So that high level of service will be enjoyed on our ships. Then we also have the designs on our ships. We've designed every one of our ships except for the Norwegian Epic. When that was just finishing being built, we had the opportunity to buy it. So we bought the Norwegian Epic without designing it. But all of our other ships, we've purposely designed them so that our clients can enjoy the holiday that they want. We've spaced it out. There's areas that you'll discover, like your agent will share as much as needed to really identify the right holiday for you. But once you're on board, you're really going to discover things that you didn't even know were going to be part of it. So enjoy that. And we purposely design our ships just for that experience. So it's not already planned. And I'm sure it's going to be an enjoyable feature that you weren't, because we will go beyond your expectations. On top of that, we've talked about the slide coaster, the racetrack. We also have this dry slide down the side of our ships. It's actually called the drop. So you start on deck 18, go down to deck 8. You can go fully clothed. It's not a wet, there's no water involved. You can maybe plan your dinner and then take the drop and go down onto deck 8 really quickly. It is a very safe. You start off on an angle and then they let the floor out from underneath and you drop. But that thrill-seeking activity, if you really are not interested in this and you are thinking, I don't need ships like that, you don't even know they're there unless you're looking for it. Even the racetrack, they're electric cars. They're single-seated or double-seated, but they're electric. They don't make noise. They are wide enough that you can pass each other. But again, if you're not interested in that, you don't even know it's there unless you go looking for it. So just to keep that in mind, if you go with multiple people that have different interests, they can find that holiday that they want. You don't all have to have the same. And then if you're going single, great conversation starters. Hey, did you do the drop? Why not? And even try it yourself and have a firsthand experience to share. We also have this see-through walkway on some of our ships. This means that you're walking on top of the ocean. You can see it through the glass, kind of like the CN Tower. If you've ever seen the glass floor in the CN Tower, we can see right down to the floor. This is you're walking on top of the ocean. It's fantastic. We also have infinity pools, infinity hot tubs. We have areas on the ship where you can find a quiet corner and have ocean views. while you're outside. We do design our ships so that everyone can enjoy, and it's all spread out, so not everyone's filtered to the same spot. So my purpose of saying that is that you will find those quiet corners to enjoy. Now, where are you going to stay when you're in on our ships? We have so many different options, so you can find the right cabin for you. Of course, we have the Haven, which is what we call that luxury section. Really, luxury is how you define it. However, Norwegian did win an award for being the most luxurious cruise line within a cruise line. So if you took this section and made it into its own ship, we won an award for that. But just to keep in mind, the Haven and solo categories, we cannot hold as multiple cabins. So if you see one and find one, and you've got a price with your agent, book it right away because you can't hold it. As I say in a group, once it's gone, it's gone. So just to reiterate that for the Haven section, which is our suites, and then we have the club balcony or balcony family staterooms. We have ocean view, then we have insides, and then we have solo category. So the solo category is designed for one person, one passenger. We have about 1,000 staterooms in our entire fleet in the solo category because it's become so popular. And both for the Haven and solo, it's an average of about 60 cabins per ship. So as I say, once they're gone, they're gone. So if you find one, reserve it right away. So solo, as I mentioned, it's designed just for one passenger. And we also have a reception area just for solo category passengers so that they can meet other solo travelers. So you're not having to infiltrate. And goes back to what I was saying, if you're going for all these activities or you're doing any of the areas on the ship that you just love, great conversation starters. But we do set this up, and we also have ocean view and balcony in the solo category. The only area for the reception area for the solo staterooms are all the insides, but the balcony and the ocean view would have access to that reception area. But if you're not a solo traveler, you don't have access. So there's only about 60 people or 60 staterooms who have access to that. The same with the Haven. So it's separate for the rest of the ship, but you guys in those categories can have access to the entire ship. So give you a bit more detail on the Norwegian Haven. And this is on our new ship, this image. You can see it just looks so luxurious, and that infinity pool in the middle really is a spectacular experience. On the Aqua, we've built a dedicated elevator just for Haven now, whereas on our other ships, we do have a Haven staff member to reserve the elevators so that our Haven customers can go up and down to get to the Haven section. So we do assign a butler to every stateroom in the Haven. So you have a very personalized service. We've also got a concierge dedicated for Haven guests where we have reserved priority seating in our entertainment and lounge and reservations in our restaurants. We also have a dedicated restaurant in the Haven with some very unique experiences. You can also order from any restaurant for your room service. You can do that in the Haven. Of course, we have the linens, and your butler is there to adhere to any of your wishes on board. And I will say, I literally witnessed a butler going with the guest to do the racetrack. I'm assuming they couldn't get another guest to go with them that they were traveling with, so they went with the butler. So really, I'm sure it's not written in the job description, but I'm sure the butler is there to make sure that the holiday is experienced the way the guest wants it. So back to the Haven, those niceties, the robes, the linens are all a bit elevated as well in that section. And the client the guests can really have that luxury experience. So depending on the ship is where the section is located. In our larger ships, it will be in the forward section. In the newer ships, at the bottom here, it's in the aft. And then some of our smaller ships, it's in the midship. And this just one of the examples where you have the floor to ceiling windows, huge balconies. This actually continues on to the washroom area in some of the suites, but that's what I consider luxury is if I have an ocean view, which is fantastic. We all want that when we're going to the Caribbean or staying at an all-inclusive. Ocean view is the way to go. No one wants to look at a parking lot when you're on holiday, but ocean view when you're in the washroom having a bath or a shower, the windows are tinted or you have a blind, but you're having an ocean view, seeing the wildlife fly across, the birds, the sea life, or just the water. Um, that's a quiet Zen moment and what I determine as luxury. Anyway, beautiful cabins and suites available to you. We also have introduced on our new ship a duplex. Now, it may sound out of out of bounds. But if you're looking at adjoining cabins because you're going as a group, consider pricing out a suite because they're bedrooms. So you have a common area, living room, dining room, and then you have bedrooms. So it absolutely is worth pricing out a comparison if you're instead doing adjoining cabins or wanting to do multiple cabins. It's definitely a haven, can be a potential and you work with your agent on that. So this, I mean, I'm happy to share the differences with the Aqua because we've expanded the size, as I mentioned. But it really doesn't do it justice for the other staterooms. It makes it look really small, but it's not. What we did is change where the closet is located. The closet is now by the door, whereas before on our other ships, it's by the bed. So it looks smaller, but it's still very spacious. On the newer ships, we've expanded the space of the balcony as well. And the washrooms, we've reconfigured the layout. So it's just a much more comfortable experience. So just to reiterate again, more at sea, unlimited drinks, covers 90% of the alcohol on our ships. We have the dining credits. So on a 7-day cruise, that gives you 3 nights in our specialty restaurants. The longer the cruise, the longer the more credits you receive for the dining. Airfare is buy one, get one air. It does come with restrictions, but do talk with your agent if you're interested in working with the Norwegian Air. We have shore excursion credits on as many shore excursions you're able to take. That doesn't include the pre or post, but it is for any shore excursion you can take, and it's tagged to guest 1. And of course, the cabin, you can figure out how to split the credit, but that's included in your More at Sea package. And then we also have Wi-Fi to keep you connected. Those are packages. We don't have unlimited, but you can buy packages to give you that internet access. And then, of course, third and fourth go free, and it does equate to 75% off if you didn't have More at Sea. And that's really just factoring in the dining and the drinks in that 75% off. It's a great savings. Now, Donna mentioned we have promotions for you just for being here with Expedia, but I did want to share with you a couple of things. We have a military discount. You just id.me is your third-party website, and that actually houses discounts for military. So even if you are military and you hadn't heard about that, we do have the Norwegian offer there. You just select it, make sure that you sign up for that because it tags to your latitudes number, and then you only have to do it once. So every time you book a Norwegian cruise, it'll recognize you as a military and you get the 10% off. And again, the website is called id.me. Very simple, worth a check. Now, what's not included in the Expedia More at Sea sale, because we've got great specials on right now, and the More at Sea sale are for sailings from January 1st, 2026 on, whereas this added discount is for close-in sailings for all the way up to the end of September. So it's for, if you're ready to go right now, we have great pricing for you. We also have teacher discounts. Same, you have to go to id.me to verify that you're a teacher. It gets tagged to your latitudes, your loyalty number, your Norwegian loyalty number. And with the teacher discount, it's 5% off, and we provide a $50 onboard credit. And then we have the Expedia More at Sea sale. And we've got great savings for you. So we're offering free prepaid gratuities for guest 1 and 2 in the cabin. Those are for 7-night or longer sailings from January 1st onwards. And it is for balcony and above. And the More at Sea is combinable. And also, if you happen to have Cruise Next credits, you can apply that, of course. We have a double up promotion on until the 25th. So the free prepaid gratuities are on until the 26th. But if you want to use a Cruise Next credit, you have until the 25th to do that on a new reservation. Now, the Cruise First, it's either or Cruise Next or Cruise First. If you haven't got any certificates, you can purchase a Cruise First certificate, and it's $250. We match it and make it $500. So you're basically getting $250 free. That promotion's on until the 22nd. So it starts tomorrow till the 22nd. You can buy a certificate and then apply it to your cruise with the More at Sea sale for those sailings January 1st onwards. So that is an additional certificate. We basically are giving you $250. If you're buying a Cruise First certificate outside of the promotion of 19th to the 22nd, it's always $150, and then we match it and make it $300. And that's applied to your first deposit. And we are the official sponsor of the NHL. So you will see the Norwegian logo, and even a ship, I've heard, will float across the screen when you're watching your hockey game. And on that note, I wish to thank you very much. I will open up for questions if there are any. And thank you, Donna. Greatly appreciate the opportunity.
Does anybody have any questions? I was keeping an eye on the chat and I don't see anything. Everybody's quiet, so I think we're good. You just went over everything so well, Fiona, so thank you so much. If you guys think of a question, please reach out to the store closest to you or your agent that you work with. Oh, here we go. How often does Cruise Next come up?
Cruise Next, the double up, I guess in my experience this year, I think we've had it twice. We have also sometimes a triple up. We don't currently have a triple up right now, but the triple up, in my experience, we had it late in the year last year, and we've already had it, I think, in March. So there's no given time that they let us know in advance, and most likely your Expedia agent won't be given advance notice, but right now you do, because we have it on right now. The Cruise Next double up started today, all until the 25th. And then the Cruise First, if you haven't any Cruise Next credits, the Cruise First is on right now, starting tomorrow until the 22nd. So they are two different certificates. It's either or. If you don't have any Cruise Next certificates, purchase that Cruise First, and you can purchase that. Cruise Next, just to give you, if you don't know what that is. It's when you're sailing, there's a desk on our ships that where you can purchase actual CruiseNext certificates, and they give you onboard credits to use right away. There's more information available with the Expedia agents as well as on our website. But the CruiseNext credits you purchase and then get onboard credits. Some guests will actually use those onboard credits to pay for the certificates, but the the benefit you get right away when you're sailing with CruiseNext, and then with Cruise First, you get it as a discount. Basically, we're basically giving you money towards your deposit.
We have another question.
Okay.
Do you have solo travel sales?
We don't have solo cabin sales, but we do have single supplements sailing. So they wouldn't be as categorized as a solo traveler, so you wouldn't have access to that reception area. But we do have single supplement sailings, and you would have to check with your Expedia agent. Most of those are close in, so they wouldn't be part of the Expedia sale, the More at Sea sale. But there are some great savings. So the single supplements I've seen can be 100%, 150%, 175% versus a 200%. Because for those who don't know what I'm talking about, when a cruise line is giving you capacity of how many passengers are on board, they're factoring each cabin as two. Even though we have staterooms that it can accommodate 4 people, each cabin is categorized as having two. So if you're going as a single person in a normal cabin, you're paying 200% of the cost of the cabin. Whereas we do have specials right now with single supplement, and that is discounted from the 200%.
And I mean, most of the ships, especially with Norwegian, do have solo cabins. So there's that, the price is the price. You don't have to pay extra for going solo.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we have a bunch of more questions all of a sudden. So can you explain the tax in Europe? I'm taking a TA in October. What gets charged with extra tax? I don't know if they mean for like now for Greece. I'm not sure. Betty, did you want to
So,
just
well, did you say Betty or do you want me?
no, go ahead. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, Fiona.
So this question's coming up a lot because it's new. Whereas VAT, it's called value added tax. It's what, I mean, in Canada, we call it HST, harmonized sales tax. And we've had that. And I remember, I'm dating myself, I remember when we first came out with HST because we combined the taxes. And we were, as Canadians, up in arms. Anyway, Europe has had VAT, value added tax, forever. It's what is charged tax in those countries. Now, it has, and I remember too when this happened, it was years ago, but hotels started adding additional taxes. So when you go to the different hotels, so what's happened this year is these countries are now applying it to cruise lines. So it's not a tax that we as a cruise line add, it's the different countries. So some of the confusions are coming out because not all countries are adding it to cruise lines. But your Expedia agent will be able to highlight depending on the itinerary that you go on, because some itineraries don't deal with this. And other itineraries, like in Spain, Spain is a big one. Greece was different for whatever other reasons, but the VAT is a sales tax. And it is new in that how they're charging it to cruise lines versus before they didn't. I hope that answers the question.
So for a 7-day cruise, and you said it included the 3 dining credits. Do you know what a 10-day cruise should include? I only see 2. However, I'm not sure if that is 2 per person or 2 total.
You only see 2, or you do have a current booking?
It sounds like this person does, yes. But you know
Okay.
what, guys? I mean, if you have a current booking, please talk to your agent because they can look into it. It's just a phone call, because it could have been a special. Like, there's all these different things. Like, without a booking number, it would be really hard to say.
And I know right away, as soon as you said 2 on a 7-day, or so we transitioned to moor at sea in October last year, and sailings and there's so many. Yeah, I would go with what Donna said. Talk with your agent because there's reasons why there's only two on that booking. Because of how you booked it. It's probably got a great deal because Expedia holds group space years. Like we come out with deployments, and as soon as we come out with deployments, Expedia will hold space. And because cruises are supply and demand, the price goes up as the demand goes up. So if you have a sailing with two dining credits, it tells me that you probably booked into an Expedia group and got a great deal. Anyway, just my
Yeah.
assumptions, but I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I know, and there's so many changes, so it really does depend when you booked it. And yes. Can you use double up if you already booked a sailing? I know the answer to this, and this is no, because I've gone through it with a client. Unfortunately, you cannot. And again, Isaac, you probably want to talk to your agent because if there's group space left, or you know what I mean, it just depends if it would be worth to cancel and redo book it. But you would have to do that. But price may have changed, so you may lose out. It may not be worth that. Does NCL have staterooms that are two separate bedrooms instead of adjoining rooms?
That would be in the Haven. You could get larger staterooms like the club balcony stateroom, but you would be in the Haven if you're looking at a bedrooms. So that would be considered a suite. But then you get that elevated experience. It's worth pricing out if you're looking at adjoining cabins or a suite with bedrooms. I would definitely price out because that elevated experience with the added touches with the butler, the concierge, the priority embarkation, disembarkation, the food, it's all potentially worth it when you look at the price.
Can you buy more than one cruise next certificate? Yes, you can, for sure.
You
And
can
which ship do you think is the best for a wheelchair? Most accessible?
um I mean, all our ships. So the accessibility, if you're in a wheelchair, it's not on board our ships, because absolutely you can get around on our ships. It's very much like going in a hotel. You've got hallways. It's not. It's a large. It's large. It's when you're getting off the ship to go into the different ports. So you want to avoid those ports that have tender ports. So a tender means the ship isn't docking at the port. It actually has to put the passengers in boats and tender them to the actual shore side. So that would be a challenge. So I would, depending on your mobility, if you can get up and down on the wheelchair or if you're completely assigned to the wheelchair. But our ships are all of them, and we do have wheelchairs available on our ships too. If you just want to use one versus bringing one with you, it really depends on what your needs are. But we have a special needs desk that your agent would communicate if it's dietary, if it's mobility. We're here to support our guests and what they need.
And every ship does have cabins that are like accessible. So absolutely. There's not, I've never been on a ship that doesn't have that. Some of them have not as many. So again, that's one of those things that they do, but they're very strict of who gets them as well. So usually I've never had a problem not getting one when I needed it for a person who needed that. Um, so somebody's asking if they, I think what they're talking about here is if they purchase the cruise first or the cruise next, I'm getting them mixed up now. And they go on board and they book on there, can they use it, like combine it? So they would have one cruise next and one cruise first.
Unfortunately, you can't combine. It's one or the other. So
Yeah.
when you purchase a cruise next, yes, you can purchase up to eight, and you get immediate onboard credits. So that's where the savings is you get money for spending money. And as I say, some people will actually use those onboard credits given to pay the cruise next credits. So it's applied. So those onboard credits are only to use while you're sailing. And yes, I always wondered why you would purchase eight, but you can't purchase up to eight certificates and then you can only apply one. And then if we have a double up like we do right now, you can apply two. And then sometimes we have triple up, and that's only on new bookings. But if we have a triple up promotion, you can apply three towards your cruise. And as I say, I'm not sure ever when those come up. But when they do come up, that's when your agent will be able to tell you.
And then someone just was mentioning about the pool. Fiona, you'd probably know better. On your ships, do all of the ships have the seat to get in? Like, let's say you're in a wheelchair to get in and out of the pool. I know some of the adults pools had them.
I've seen them, but to say every one of our ships, I don't know. But we do again have a special needs desk. When I say desk, it doesn't mean it's a physical person sitting at a desk. It means that we have a phone number that your agent can call or even email to request or make the request to confirm. So
Right. And somebody had just said lifts aren't really ideal. And I know that what they're saying too, like some ships have the stairs walking in, which just makes it much more easy versus the ladder, right? So, and again, that would depend, I think, on the ship. They're all a little different. And usually a lot of the ships do have multiple pools. So again, one might be better than the other. But we can definitely look at that. That is things that usually we can, like, your agent could find out for you for sure. Are the cruise first and cruise next for the 2026 sailing season only? No.
oh no, and there's no expiration. The only stipulation is if you bought the Cruise Next certificate today, you could only apply it to a sailing that's at least 4 months in advance. So you can't purchase it for a last minute thing. So if I bought the certificate today, what's today, mid-August? So you're looking at the January 1st onward sailings, give or take a day or two or three. So that would be the only stipulation, but you can't use a cruise next and a cruise first. It's either towards a cruise.
Perfect. I think that is all the questions. Great questions, guys. Chippers, everybody had like lots of stuff. That's awesome. I'm going to stop the recording here. And